Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to MLG's America's Minor. We've got Tempo Storm versus OpTic moving into Cobblestone. If you guys missed map number 1, OpTic, they came out with Train and fairly convincingly as well. So moving into Cobblestone, Tempo, they've been, they're one of the teams that is quite the beast on this map. And they even say that they think they're one of the best teams in the world, or the best team in the world on it. So that kind of confidence means a lot as we move into the pistol round. I am Sprawl, joined by the one and only Van Zilly. And here we go. CT side start for Tempo Storm.
Tempo Storm is composed of Phelps, Lucas, Showtime, Henny, and Bolts, well for OpTic Gaming. We have Mixwell, Nafly, Dap, Stanislaw, and Rush, and this is going to be quite a challenge for OpTic Gaming, but also quite interesting to see if they could finally be that first team that's going to put so much pressure onto Tempo Storm. But look at this round. There's only one player playing inside B, and that's going to be Phelps, even playing it from the mid-connector side. There was a 4-man push from Tempo Storm outside towards long A. At least Daps has fallen down, but it's going to be a huge post plan situation right now for OpTic Gaming with 4 guys on that huge flank.
Here we go. Phelps coming through the drop down, has a teammate with him, and retake from a flank and drop. We'll see if they can get it done. 4-on-4. Stanislaw coming up big with 2. Rush going to follow it up. Bolts trying from the broken wall to get something done, but all of a sudden he's alone, and OpTic will continue their momentum here, and that's massive to take T-Pistol moving into Cobblestone, where you would heavily favor Tempo Storm. And I wonder if, so both these teams doing homework and such, like we had talked about, knowing that they are probably going to have this matchup, this map even specifically going to be played, I wonder if we just saw 2 different kind of counter strats, like Tempo playing 1 at B and rushing through A. Were they expecting something from OpTic that they didn't see there? Because OpTic, they just ran into B, and that was the round.
Yeah, we'll have to ask Stanislaw and Daps, what was their thought of just rushing into B? Did they expect that Tempo Storm was going to try to counter-strat them somehow and then just say, usually these guys are going to hit towards the A side, let's just push towards long A. I mean, playing that way with Phelps playing towards that connector side, if they actually rushed through that mid side for OpTic Gaming, then it would have been all 4 of them rotating back towards that mid side and Phelps pinching through from that connector, and they could play a faster retake. But that was such a huge rotation for Tempo Storm, going all the way from A to B. And OpTic Gaming already had such a great post position plan. This round, it's actually going to be a mixed force buy for Tempo Storm, with Phelps jumping out, going for the shoulder peek with his knife out. He's already down to 52 HP. He has a Nova, but he doesn't have any armor to work with, so this is going to be hard for him to try to hold it. He's going to bait out his teammates. He's going to get the first headshot onto Nafly. Gets the second one here. The bomb is down, but finally Daps tosses him, but that's a lot of money. And even the drop zone is held by Bolts. And now it's going to be Mixwell and Daps. 4 versus, make that a 3 versus 2 situation. They have only pistol still for the counter-terrorist team, and finally we see an upper hand for this majorly Canadian roster lineup. It's now a 2 versus 1. Henny does have the MAC-10 that he salvaged from one of the players of OpTic Gaming, but the bomb is yet to make its way down. It's going to be dropped from Mixwell, while Stanislaw is going to stay on the top of Broken Wall. Now the bomb planner has been spotted. They're going to try to bring that fight out. Easy for Mixwell, 2-0.
2-0 OpTic. It was a little worrying for a moment there, no doubt, as, again, Phelps, quite a bit of work done, considering he was on half hit points when he took that fight. But that's how terrifying just a shotgun can be in that angle. So OpTic, we'll see if they decide to go into that spot on an anti-eco or like that. Moving into this next one.
And it's a high risk, high reward for Phelps. I mean, he bought a Nova, he had no armor. If he gets 2 kills with Nova, he already made his money back. Even now, he could buy a P250 in armor and still be in the same type of money situation for Tempo Storm. If he actually didn't connect with those, that was a lot of money wasted. But if they actually won thanks to that, they would have had so much economy.
Phelps sprints through the smoke. I wonder if he was hoping that Rush had actually ran out of ammunition. Not the case, as he obviously died. Bolt's now all alone, and that's going to be a flawless round here for the OpTic side. So that will negate some of the damage that was done in the last, but still, I got to credit Tempo for that second round. Moving into this, though, Henny with that AWP. They are a little low on utility. No kit to note. We'll see if they can bring things back in OpTic. Are they going to go the green route here? It looks like they'll at least keep 2 of their SMGs in play, and they have a lot of utility, so I'm wondering if it will be just a rush, considering they have these SMGs, but they have plenty of smokes and other things to execute properly, as Daps very quickly out towards Broken Wall. No one's watching the flank here, so I'm expecting OpTic probably going to go fairly quickly.
Yeah, this is going to be fun for OpTic Gaming. I mean, it's surprising for me that you keep some machine guns when you're going to have to be the one that's going to have to initiate the fights. When you're looking at SMGs, keeping them on the CT side, you could play close and play angles, but at this point, you're going to have to try to move out and try to get these kills. I'm wondering with Nafly and with Daps if they're just going to try to play more towards that drop zone with the SMGs instead of trying to execute towards the broken wall with the submachine guns, and so far it's going to be executing for the drop zone control for AKers. And Bolts is waiting around the corner, fully flash this time, and a nice shot by Rush to open things up, and he gets a double kill for Bolts right now, trying to go for a third. Daps actually gets a kill with the MAC-10, and the MP7 actually comes into work for Nafly, so it's a one-man advantage for OpTic Gaming, and this is actually quite interesting. I mean, it's surprising as well as how good they are with these SMGs.
Wow. Henny now all alone, and he's going to go down to Daps. He didn't have head armor, and actually a couple, I counted at least two. I wasn't certain how many others didn't have that, but that's another thing to note in that those SMGs, very effective shooting people without helmets, of course. So, not that it specifically came into play, but that's a scary situation. And it's going to be a quick 4-0 here for OpTic. Tempo. See if they can bring it. It is an eco here, obviously, so moving into the next rifle round, we'll see what they can get going. But Daps going to keep that MAC-10 yet again, and see if he can build even more of a bank.
I think he's going to be the one that's going to try to scout it out, kind of like what Nafly did on that train with the MP7. So he's already down spotting with that long at that broken wall. We do have some sort of a stack here for Temple Storm with the slightly upgraded pistol bolts with a small armor, and pushed up aggressively is going to be Showtime towards that long A, and then Henny also towards that mid side. But as they see and heard nothing, they're going to try to gamble it out and stack out towards this B area where actually OpTic Gaming are getting ready to go. I mean, they only have 3 guys playing towards that inner B. 2 of them were trying to hold that flanking in case of any aggressive pushes like Temple Storm did on that pistol round. Now they're all going to regroup. We're going to see a bloodbath towards the B bomb site, but can Temple Storm's pistols be strong enough?
Rush slowly creeping forward here, and Mixwell is actually on flank patrol with that AWP, but here we go. Looks like OpTic with some Molotovs, flashes. They are going to take into this bomb site. Bolts playing at the broken wall first and foremost, goes down Naf. Follows it up on a Lucas, and Henny playing a cheeky angle, but he'll lose his teammates and his own life as Showtime finds himself in a lonely situation. OpTic up a quick 5-0 in Tempo. OpTic just running him over at the moment.
It just repeats itself right now for OpTic Gaming. I mean, such a strong start for this mainly Canadian roster, but also 2 rounds in a row where they actually haven't lost a player, so they're looking good economically. Sorry. It was only the last round where they lost nobody. It was the 3rd round where they actually also lost nobody. So they have a lot of economy to work with.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it's all right though. I mean, they're looking to play a slow mid to start, so it's okay for them to bump into each other for a bit. A little bit of a bro love going on.
A traffic jam.
Exactly, but Daps is still keeping this this MAC-10, so he's gonna look for some information towards that B side, but the rest of them are slowly moving into this A bomb set. Mixwell looks like he got tagged here. I'm wondering if it was through a wall somewhere. Actually, maybe Henny was opping it from long A, so I don't know if he was looking down towards the danger area, but Mixwell is down to 16 HP. So they're really counting on him as well to try to get these entries and try to scout it out like he did on train. But after getting walled here, they're going to decide to fall back slowly. And it looks like they might try to take control of drop and work towards B.
Looks to be the case. Daps, the front runner towards drop down, and I think this would be the best weapon to send down first if they are going to commit to this play, as again, wild spray as he flies through the air. I've seen some interesting stuff in that respect, as there's 45 seconds for OpTic to make this take work. Not a lot of utility remaining. Showtime being one of the A players with an incendiary, but they're running out of stuff to use. 30 seconds. Lucas finds the first one. Bolts to follow it up, and looks like we could see Tempo Storm finding their first round. It's a 3-on-4 with only 25 seconds for OpTic to actually make this work, but Lucas falls, and it's going to be 2 frags going back the way of the CT side. Stan still alive and well, but 1v2 needs to find the round within 15 here.
The timing. If he actually wide-peeked a little bit more, he probably would have spotted Showtime, but now he never expected somebody else there, so it was an easy kill for Temple Storm. And finally, they're trying to start to get the ball rolling here for Temple Storm, or they're trying to. I mean, they win this round. They spent a lot of money in that previous one, and now they don't really have that much. They salvage an AK-47. They're going to force a MAC-7 in the hands of Lucas. but you're still missing 2 more slots of utilities. That's possible for Lucas and for Henny. So at this point, the Mag 7 it might be playing towards that broken wall, which is still viable enough. Phelps has played it with that Nova on that second round, and then they could pretty much run a default here for Temple Storm on the CT side.
See, Henny is pushed up very aggressively, looks like, towards long A. That's quite a bit of intel, as he's actually peering through a one-way smoke there. Cool stuff, but it is going to be more action towards this B bomb site. Just wanted to highlight what he was out and about doing there, as still have plenty of time for OpTic to work, plenty of utility. And Tempo, on the other hand, they got a little bit to work with as well. A couple incendiaries here, Bolts being one of them, and he's actually going to drop it very early. So that will be a little bit of a... Whoa, hold that thought. Lucas finds 2 inside of drop. He picks up the AK, can't quite find the spray down onto Naf, but drops him to 5. Daps falls as well, and it'll be a 3-on-2. Phelps drops the bomb carrier. It's Nafly all alone.
Man, if the Mag 7 didn't work towards broken, it did work towards drop, so a great hold there. And as Force Fight comes back into fruition for Temple Storm, Nafly now spotted with only 5 HP remaining. Pretty much at this point, he's going to try... He's okay to die, because they do have a lot of money to work with for OpTic Gaming to buy again. So he might want to try to hurt the economical situation for Temple Storm, or the economy of Temple Storm into the next round if he's able to drop maybe 1 or 2 more kills. Trying to line up the first one, but to no avail. Phelps is going to support his teammate Lucas and get the kill. And it's going to be now 5-2. Again, there's still 2 guys kind of low in the money situation. Imagine if he actually got that 3rd kill onto that fountain. It was going to be such a big weak buy for Temple Storm while they had so much money to work with, and they could easily overpower it. So far it's still pretty standard to see a strong T sign for any of the stronger teams playing on a map like Cobble. So I'm not discounting anything yet overall in this matchup for Temple Storm.
Into the 8th round here. Again, no real solid economy behind that CT side, like you had noted. A little better that they had 3 left up, but still not a fantastic spot, as you want to have all the utility you can really bring together. Naf playing alone towards the broken wall here, and this looks like OpTic is thinking about some A pressure. Seems to be the case. Again, we don't have Mixwell on that AWP, but he will be the front man towards A middle still, and Showtime, he's actually alone towards A at this point, and actually T-side look to be rotating out, so not a huge deal. Mixwell hangs around to lurk, but we'll see. Just a slow round from OpTic thus far, and this is a great idea from them, considering, you know, that the CTs, they survive with 3, yeah, but their economy is not great. Let them use all their utility, and then you can go for things.
Still have 3 smokes to work with, though, for OpTic Gaming, so this could be good for that type of wall smoke.
Yep.
And also the molly on top of the tree for them to just run through and take control of boulder side on the CTs. And it looks like they're setting up for something similar to that. So let's see where these are actually going to bloom. So the flash to clear out towards the back of the big headshot area. You do have Lucas still playing towards the back of the B site. There's that molly on top of that tree to try to force him out. You do see the smokes coming through, but they're going to focus more to try to take control of the chicken coop and also to the back of the site. That's a huge flash coming across, but that's only a 1-for-1 trade. Henny is still alive, though, with the AWP. They're going to try to run back through the smoke to try to hold the site, but Rush is going to get the headshot onto Bolts. 3 versus 3 right now. 13 seconds left on the clock. The spray does not come into fruition, so Rush is still alive, and Nafly is actually going to save him. Now it's a 3 versus 2 in favor of OpTic Gaming. The tides have turned into this round, and Showtime and Hen, the 2 key players on the train side of CT. Let's see if they can retake this site. So far, no, as Stanislaw makes it a 3 versus 1. Henny at this point will say, time for me to try to keep this this AWP into the next round.
And it's important he does so, as we saw how effective they were on the CT side of Train that one round where Henny just went off and they kind of had pistols around him and such. So he's the kind of player that definitely could make the impact in the next round. But OpTic, they're just off to a fantastic start to this map. They're going to be up 6-2. They survive with 3 here. They're going to start building up an economy yet again and moving into the next round. If they can negate that op of Henny, we'll see where he decides to play with it, being that, again, it is going to be a solo op play. Let's see how much they actually have around it.
Yeah, I mean, they already had that economy, right, for OpTic Gaming, and now it's going to be a similar situation as round number, what was it, 4 on that train map. You're going to see Henny again with the AWP, a full pistol buy, and at this point, I think on train it was a stack towards the outside. So if you're going to see a lot of pushes from OpTic Gaming towards the B side, you're probably going to see a heavy hold from the CTs on B here.
There we go. Lucas going to try and hold with the Eagle. He has a lot of teammates to help him out. OpTic just trying to barrel into this bomb site, and it's looking like it's going to work out for him as only 2 frags go the way of the CT side, and OpTic, they will continue their dominance on this map. And again, you can kind of hear the surprise in my voice. OpTic is really impressing me here in Tempo Storm. This is not a good look from them. They need to find some sort of success, bring the momentum back. At some point, I would even like to see a tactical pause. If they don't take this round, it's going to be 8-2. And again, OpTic is well on their way to a 2-0 victory.
Yeah, I don't think a pause would be useful for Temple Storm in the following round, because if they lose this one here, they'll have bonus money of like $2,400, which will not be enough for any type of buy for the counter-terrorist team. They probably utilize a pistol round save to already talk about the next round or the following round. Yeah. But yes, definitely, in the next few rounds, they would definitely need some sort of timeout to try to salvage a few CT sides again to make it more of a default scoreline that we usually see on COM. Although OpTic Gaming really running away with this matchup so far. I mean, the way that they stacked also in that previous round towards the B bomb site, I mean, they had Henny with the AWP at the right place. It's just a bit harder versus Train. I mean, the spawns are different. By the time you make it at your spot, the terrorist team could be already out. While for Train, you already have a better angle to try to get those rounds, right? So a little bit tough for them. And now they go for a full gun round here for Temple Storm, but a very low one.
Daps is going to be the lurk here towards Drop, and we'll see how impactful he can be. Oh, Rush, this is a money Molotov here. Showtime literally has to put it out, and Rush, see if he can find a timing. Flash comes out, he eats it. But that's intel that there is a player down on A middle. Phelps with the Mag 7, can't find the shot, and could have been the start of a highlight, but not going to be the case. Naf takes him down, and 4-on-5. Henny with another one, as they will get the bomb on site, but they don't have control of this middle ramp, and that is going to be a shooting gallery on the retake.
2 versus 4 situation. 3 M4s moving up, but 2 of them are slightly low. Make that only Henny low with the 3 players remaining. But Lucas goes for the strafe, gets the 5-7 kill, and actually gets another 5-7 kill on to Nafly, and they'll be able to come in for the defuse, salvage an AK-47. Another round here where they went for, they got the pistols that actually played the part to win the round for Temple Storm.
Tempo, we'll see if they can build off of that. Big round for them to bring in as OpTic. They're still on 7, so Tempo, they have more than enough of a chance to bring this half back. Of course, they just need to continue to bust the economy of the T side. And if we look at their money now, T side, he still got 5,200, 4,400. Still a little bit of residual money in the bank account, but we will move into this next round. We got Phelps with the P90. Interesting stuff. As I'm wondering where he will play. Lucas getting aggressive towards the broken wall area. And he does have bolts with him as well, as he's going to hop on up onto said broken wall. And Naps playing very close, actually eats a flash from one of his teammates. But once Bolt is up on said platform, he'll drop a nice smoke here. Nice deep nade, extend down to 64. And OpTic, they are going to play another fairly slow round, and this is what we're kind of used to seeing from them. That being said, it does look like they're priming for a bit of an execute, and this is maybe a little earlier than we've seen it.
Yeah, but they have a great positioning for Bolts and for Lucas right now for a crossfire, but great job by Phelps. I mean, the Nova worked before, the Mag 7 failed, but this time the P90 holds inside the drop zone, and they still have a great crossfire set up for the broken wall. As I mentioned, they never really cleared out Bolts towards the back of that brown box, so this gives a lot of a chance here for OpTic Gaming for Temple Storm to actually win this round. Even throughout this whole execution, Daps has been waiting in that corner this whole round. Finally, he gets the kill, but to the expense of 4 of his players by playing it a little bit too patiently. That's a 3 versus 1, forcing one of the players out from Temple Storm out of his position. 2 of them are low. He has 30 seconds to work with. The bomb is down, so he's just going to have to go all out and frag. But Henny's in a great position on the other side of the rectangle wall. But misses the shot!
Oof. That gives Daps a bit of a chance. The bomb is nowhere near him, though. It's inside of the drop down. In 15 seconds, it looks like he will just save. He's lining up a shot from where Henny whiffed that shot. And he spots him out. Henny able to take him down. So Tempo, they will be able to bring themselves up to 4 rounds, stringing 2 in a row. But see if they can continue the success here. OpTic with, let's take a look at their monetary situation. Yeah, they could still make a buy a reality here. You got 7K on now. We'll see if he...
2 of them are low, though, right? So they're going to have to go with... oh, okay, sorry, there's drops. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be... I thought it was going to be a little weaker as well. But, yeah, AK's on everyone. Only one without utility is Stan.
Yeah, thankfully for the AK-47's only costing $2,700, enough right now for their players to drop for their teammates. And I guess that's why we actually saw Daps playing it a little bit more aggressively, even though he didn't have any chance to win that round. He just wanted to try to get a few kills before he died, because that will put, again, Tempo Storm in a low money situation. I mean, look at it after this buy. They're at 4K, 2K, $500, $700, and $50 respectively for this counter-terrorist team. This would have been a reset going through, which is another possible reset right now if OpTic Gaming could win this round.
See some posturing towards A with the bomb as well on the OpTic end. So they haven't actually furthered themselves through the doors here. You can see Tempo on the opposite end. Flash comes in, Showtime peeks, provides a little bit of spam towards the door, but little does he recognize that there's a player waiting on the other side. Another flash comes out, another check, but with 45 seconds remaining, OpTic looks like we're going to see an A-side play, and they're actually betting that it'll be B on the Tempo side. Flash comes out, Showtime dealt with immediately, and now Henny has to come up big as he's rotating in.
Both Rush and Stanislav have been doing a good job playing those entries. A leg shot, though, from Henny is not going to capitalize on the kill, and because of that, Phelps is going to fall down from Rush, but there you go. He at least gets two of his own right after to avenge his teammate, including the bomb carrier. Stanislav somehow managed to lurk around towards that vent sign and flank Henny to give a chance for them to pick up that bomb and work towards this A bomb site, and they weren't able to take down Stanislav, unfortunately, on the top of the staircase at that balcony. And there you go. The situation's reset. There's enough for Phelps, but that's it.
Huge half here for OpTic as, Stan able to creep in behind. That's got to be a little worrying for the Tempo side, as there was teammates that were towards the doors, but no one watching, again, that crawl space area. So Tempo Storm only on 4 rounds. It is a T-sided map, but Tempo's going to need a little bit more than this to make something work in my eyes. But see what happens here as we see Phelps. He will buy a vest and a Mag 7. He's been fairly effective with a shotgun in this area. So here we go. He's fully white screen though, and he actually doesn't move a muscle. He's hoping that they literally don't, maybe they don't peek out until that flash actually is no longer affecting him, but not the case. He goes down fully white screened, and looks like we'll see the one frag going the way onto NAF, but otherwise OpTic looking good.
Definitely. I mean, this is going to be another round for them. At least Bolts is doing a good job with Lucas to actually drop at least 2 kills to start. Still missing an off shot, and that was something that I was trying to figure out what was going on for OpTic Gaming, because they didn't really have that economy to go for for AWPs in the past. I think they salvaged that from that previous round when Stanislav was finally able to get that kill onto Henny. So they finally have that money situation back in their favor. Henny at this point, though, is just going to look to try to salvage a gun. He's going to be able to pick up an AK now. And the opponents are far from him. So good job for Henny to at least get something, some glimpse of hope for Tempo Storm in this next round.
Yeah, he'll be able to drop that AK. No, it will be on. Okay, what do they decide to do here? Now, considering Showtime goes down to 0, It's the buy coming in as we move into the last couple rounds here. And you can't blame them at all, as they want to try and secure at least the 9-6, but OpTic looking primed to have a dominant T-side, and again, already on 9. Damage dealt as we see Showtime on that Mag 7, and it's going to be Bolts quick towards the broken wall, but again, OpTic, they just barrel out. Tempo can't hold, and all of a sudden, it's a 5-on-2.
Yeah, Showtime and Henny at this point will try to save these guns one more time. Showtime is going to be in a spot where he's going to try to look for exits and more money with this Mag 7, so he's going all the way towards T-spawn. If you get a few kills right now, he's going to have enough money to drop for his teammate, but he doesn't connect onto Dabs, and Dabs read him like a book. He already made it out towards T-spawn. That's crazy. So Henny now with 19 HP at this point might not be able to save this AK-47. Nafly goes for the weapon switch to kill him, so 10-4. Last round of the first half will only have an M4 for Phelps and then pretty much pistols for the rest. And, I mean, I understood why Tempo Storm wanted to go in that buy there, because the shotguns actually did work for them previously in a few rounds. It could have turned things around there, but OpTic Gaming just went too aggressively outside towards that B bomb site. So very aware of the money situation of Tempo Storm here and took it to their advantage.
What do you think of Phelps being the lone operator in this situation?
Well, at this point, we've seen Phelps trying to wield that AWP towards on train, so he's okay to be opping as well for the team. I think at this point, as he's opping towards that balcony or towards that broken wall, they played from spawns, so he probably had the better spawn. He took the AWP and then he went onto that wall. If it was Hen or if it was Showtime, it would have been either player, and there you go. That's okay. He hit the shot. He took down Daps, and this gives sort of a good advantage actually for Temple Storm.
Great points there as Phelps lining up still towards this broken wall area. Naf is lurking, and I don't know if Phelps has recognized that there is a player on the leftmost side, but Molotov comes in. Should be enough information as he does spot out the elbow there of Naf, and looks like they are pressuring towards drop as well. You can see how pressured Tempo has been towards A at this specific moment, and that's a lot of intel, but Mixwell comes up with one. The drop down still an issue here as Phelps
at
least gets a second, and it will be a 2-on-3. Tempo looking to find their fifth.
Last round of this first half, Phelps gets a double kill, looking for a third right now, still playing towards the wall, but such a huge flank coming around from Henny and from Showtime, and they get the first Mag 7 kill and the second one, and all that thanks to how Phelps played it. I mean, I was looking at him that whole round. When he got that first kill, yes, it's fine, but he didn't look to fall all the way back towards the chicken coop and play the angle. Even though he had no armor, he still played it with huge balls of steel. Because not only that, he jumped back up on that broken wall, he did a lot of shoulder peeks, and even tried to contest that smoke that was thrown by Nafly towards the entrance of B. He thought maybe it was going to land behind him, he was going to be able to land that shot, but as that smoke bloomed, he actually strafed out in the open, and then tried to dodge those bullets and get onto the right side of that smoke, and actually had an opening gap to actually get the kill onto the bomb carrier. So really held OpTic Gaming in their spots, in their steps rather, at the entrance of B, and give a chance for that huge flank coming through from Henny and from Showtime with the Mag 7. So a great play by Temple Storm, and again, using those spawns to their advantage to be able to win that round. So that ends the first half now 10-5. Pretty standard right now in terms of a scoreline I find for a T-side map for either of these teams, OpTic Gaming or Temple Storm. So the second round is still going to be quite interesting.
Yeah, certainly. And just to kind of break down how they were able to build up that 10-round lead that 5-round lead. They're on 10 rounds, though. They were able to build such an economy early that even when Tempo found a foothold, when they did win, they weren't allowed to win with enough members alive that they could build their own economy. And I think we saw they were able to string 2 rounds together, then loss, and then an eco scenario, and then 2 rounds together, and then another eco scenario. So, like, they were always caught in that economic vortex, so to speak, and that's just so difficult, especially when OpTic is playing on point. Sometimes you can get away with those kind of less than optimal buys, the shotguns we saw it work out here and there, but it still only equates to 5 rounds, so see how this next half goes.
No, it'd be interesting to see if maybe we could, as I'm going to say it right now, maybe they could pay attention to it or try to figure it out there for the analysts as how many gun rounds did Temple Storm actually have where they actually had full guns, full utilities to work with, because in a lot of situations you saw those forced shotguns, you saw those that op force pistol when Henny was able to save that AWP. So in a lot of this half, Temple Storm didn't have a lot to work with in terms of firepower, in terms of utilities to actually hold a bomb site effectively. How many times as well has OpTic Gaming tried to work towards that B bomb site? I think there was only maybe 1, possibly 2 plans towards that A bomb site for OpTic Gaming, but overall, I mean, there was 2 bombs that went off, the rest of them was and 1 defused. There was 3 bomb plants in total, but the rest of it has been just great takes and fights for OpTic Gaming towards that B bomb site that turned into their favor.
Yeah, and just again to further that thought, OpTic, when they were again on those rifle rounds, they recognized that the CT side didn't have a lot of utility. They were spending all their money to get as much as they could, but they still didn't have a comfortable amount. And OpTic later in the half, we saw maybe some quicker executes, but when they knew that the utility wasn't great, just hang out, just hang around, and Tempo is just basically throwing their nades, and at the 45 to 30 second mark, they're out of nades, and that's when the execute comes through, and there's no counter nades for that execute. So OpTic playing that brilliantly.
Yeah, exactly. OpTic really waited for like maybe about 45 seconds for a lot of the rounds to execute towards that B bomb site, the way that they worked with their smokes and their mollies. So a great job for them. I'm going to have to look at the scoreboard. I was trying to figure out how many points actually, or how many kills Rush was able to get. Rush is only at 10 and 11. He was the one that was actually a key player to start in terms of entries from the pistol round into the 2 or 3 following rounds for OpTic Gaming. But after that, it seems to be Stanislaus' story in terms of how he's been entering towards the site and how he's been a helpful key player on a map like Cobble. You did see Mixwell being the type of player that's going to try to get entries when he can and try to scout out with the AWP. But again, look at it. As we're talking about Stanislaw right now, that was a 4K that he had actually at that pistol round. And then Rush started to get those entries. But then after that, it was all Stanislaw. He's currently at 18 on the scoreboard with 5 deaths. So he's playing lights out. And I think he's actually the in-game leader as well, right, for OpTic Gaming, whether either it's him or Daps.
Daps is the one doing it, but Stan has been an in-game leader in the past, like on previous lineups like Coast, again, way back when they had their kind of rise up. But Stan, he's such a valuable player because of that.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is you still see them, either it be Stanislaw or Daps, at positive ratios as in-game leaders. So that's actually great for a team to have. Now we have the second half started. Is it going to be GG right now for Temple Storm? Will OpTic Gaming be the first one to secure a spot at the major qualifier, and Temple Storm will be sent into the lower brackets? Or will we see a third map, this time 10-5, Temple Storm on T side, OpTic Gaming on the counter-terrorist team?
So we got 2 smokes, 2 flashes from this T side. They don't have a lot of presence towards A, so we'll see fairly quick execute. They're already at a drop, and it'll be a pinch into the B bomb site. There's plenty of players to deal with this, but Rush fully white. Screen will go down first and foremost. Lucas finds Naf, and not looking good here for the OpTic side, as it'll be a 2-on-4. Stan eventually shows up, finds Showtime, and another one out of Phelps, and this is how dangerous this guy has been on these pistol rounds, and he's not done yet here as he takes down another quad kill. Lucas in a 1v2, and he's caught on a reload.
1 versus 1 right now. Can Stanislaw get the ace? He's going to get the ace, and he's going to get the defuse for OpTic Gaming. Funnily, this is probably the first time that I hear OpTic Gaming scream after winning a round, because they've been so quiet. But what a round by Stanislaw. 4K on the first pistol, an ace on the second one. And that was actually, what, a 4 versus 2 retake that they won.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were at a heavy disadvantage. And then Stan's like, don't worry, guys. I have arrived on scene. Help is available. And an ace on that round. We just saw a clip of him getting a 4K on the first pistol round. If you have a player that can go off like that on pistol rounds, it is so impactful to be able to gather those rounds. Tempo now, this is dire straits for them. You see the Force Buy coming in. They got Tech 9s to work with. Quite a bit of utility. Can OpTic hold?
That was crazy. I mean, they tried to play for a B retake for OpTic Gaming. Everything went perfectly fine for Temple Storm. They actually had a 4-player setup pulse plant, but it just somehow, Stanislaw was running and gunning and got kills. Even on a 2 versus 1 when he went towards that rectangle, towards a broken wall at rectangle wall, I mean, he was unstoppable.
Quite simply unstoppable indeed, as Tempo, we're going to see some Molotovs, flashes on out. Stan, though, to find the first on the CT side, make it the second as well, or actually Naf getting one in between, but Showtime and Henny stuck towards the broken wall, and this is not boding well for them at the moment. Showtime can't get anything done. It's Stan with a triple kill. Mix it well with one as well.
No bomb plants as well, or either for Temple Storm. So an ace, a 3K, he's now at 26-5, and the whole team for OpTic Gaming that previous round all went for SMGs. They know that Temple Storm are still pretty broke right now in this round, so they're going to for sure keep these SMGs. Rush going for the upgrade with the M4 because he was the only casualty from that previous round. And at this point, what Temple Storm will try to do, I have no idea. I mean, they're getting completely shut down on T side and CT side. The morale is so low right now.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be difficult for Tempo to rally back here. Need some sort of momentous play to get their heads back in it, and we're going to see a nice nade coming out and a follow-up bolts sent flying. Showtime is lurked up onto A with a teammate, but
no bomb.
the bomb is nowhere near. So, of course, OpTic We'll not worry about this, and, well, looks like Mixwell cleaning it up nicely.
So another flawless round for OpTic Gaming. This brings the tally up to like 8 rounds possibly, or even 9, where they actually didn't lose a single player on the course of the series, including Terrain as the first map that went down. OpTic Gaming are just looking too good. I mean, even in that previous round, you saw how they played. They tried to boost from the drop zone. They also pushed 2 guys up from upper B at that broken wall. They're playing with so much confidence right now, and they're even keeping SMGs in this round here. 4 SMGs, full gun rounds for Temple Storm. We're rushing through, fully flash with Stanislaw. Mixwell capitalizes back on an MP7 kill, trying to stay alive, jumping away. He's about to jump into an A. No, he just went on the other side of the wall. 4 versus 4 situation. Bolts is going to try to push through as well. And finally, the action has calmed down a tad.
Wow, that was very interesting, as we'll see Henny trying to come out A middle. They might call for a rotation, possibly. Now the bomb is actually still back and Henny hopping away. So there's still plenty of time. That chaotic engagement came very early.
For sure, and Daps, he was fighting his opponent there on the A side. He's down to 14 HP. Unfortunate for him, he has the MP9. If he had an MP7, maybe it would have been more accurate and more armor pen, but he didn't have the same control as Rush did on Train. Now it's going to be Temple Storm trying to take the upper hand. They do have a 2-minute advantage, make that a 1-minute advantage, almost a 2 versus 2. But Daps can still win this one, but Hen 1 is still lurking around that long way. Gets that kill with the AK-47, but again, nothing was invested on OpTic Gaming side, so they're going to be fine to go in this gun round right now. You're going to have the AWP. You even have it out for a double off setup if you want to, even a triple off setup. These guys are rolling in bank, but this is going to be the biggest round right now of the game for both of these teams.
Yeah, tempo. With 6 rounds, they can't afford to allow OpTic to further their score line at all. It's just so close to that finish line. So this is kind of the game-changing moment if Tempo want to bring it back like you have highlighted.
Yeah, because if OpTic Gaming wins this one, they're getting even closer and closer to win the series. If Tempo Storm wins this one, they'd reset OpTic Gaming in terms of the money, and then they could finally maybe start stringing some rounds back.
Oh, both. What a shot. They were trying to work that boost towards Statue, kind of peer between the legs, but that's going to be Mixwell falling early. Nav will pick up the AWP. Gonna try and find a shot into the smoke there. Rush onto Lucas, so we'll be a 4-on-4, and Naf will find Bolts, so player advantage to OpTic.
What a round. This forces now Tempo Storm to step back towards his mid side, but Zaps is still there on the other side of the wall. You can see him on the right side of the doorway if you're coming in from the CT side into the A bomb site. Pre-fired shot, but misses it, loses it against Showtime, but Rush is still alive towards the back of the site. They're moving up on this ramp now. Stanislaw is around the corner at the mid connector. It's going to be the first AK person running in, and he's just going to try to go for the full plant. They're not even going to try to go to clear the site. There's still 40 seconds left in the round. Henny taking down Stanislaw, making it a 2 versus 2. And Nafly with 30, Rush with 53 HP respectively. He's going to try to opt towards that connector. There's no more nades to work with, so this is going to be a huge opener for Nafly. He has to land a shot. They're still going for this shoulder peek right now, so he knows there's at least one around the corner. There's a pre-fired shot coming through. And he gets the collateral.
What a shot, as they were trying to give him the shimmy, but Naf having none of it. Collateral shot from him and OpTic. They are on 14 rounds. The economy of Tempo is looking fairly brutal with 2K on 3, 4,600 on 1. But we do see a pause coming in, and this is OpTic. It looks like we do have a technical pause. My apologies.
I saw a dot problem there going on, so I still see them going over one of the players here of Tempo Storm to see what's going on. But maybe it could still be another one where it's going to be that, oh, we have a problem, quote unquote. Let's try to figure out how to win this round now as we have 30 seconds left. Yeah, there's a problem, and it's them losing 6-14 against OpTic Gaming right now. What a shot by Nafly there. And I mean, they played it perfectly for Tempo Storm as well. They went for those jiggle peaks before, then they went for that double peak right after. But unfortunately, Nafly was just on point, salvaging that AWP behind from Mixwell, and still holds B and still holds A. Great round.
Moving forward here, Tempo. You can see the buy. Not a pretty one. Henny with an AK-47, but otherwise they have very little to work with. Phelps with a Molotov already towards Chicken Coop, and it looks like they're going to try and just bolt out onto the bomb site very early here. Rush playing inside of the smoke. Phelps is just going to run right through it. Rush looks away, but looks back in time to take down Phelps, and yeah, the bomb has gone down, but can they hold on the post plant?
Well, now what seems to be the self-proclaimed best team in the world on Cobble. Currently about to get demolished here on this B side as they're trying to hold this bomb planted or at least a broken wall. It's 2 versus 1. Showtime just around rectangle, and Daps gets the kill. It's map series point for OpTic Gaming.
This is huge. OpTic, they're 1 round away from, like you had stated, winning the series, moving on to the finals, which, again, if you guys are just joining us, there is 2 spots for that offline qualifier for the majors. So this would be their spot. Of course, there's still money to fight out for in the end. A little bit more change that they could bring home, but the goal here is to get to that offline qualifier, and OpTic, again, they are 1 round away.
Yeah, even though it's $30,000 for first place and $15,000 for second, the goal right now for Tempo Storm and OpTic Gaming is just to get that seed spot to the major qualifier. Tempo Storm, if they lose this series right now, it's okay. They still have a chance to battle back and make it through the lower bracket finals to get that second spot, and then they'll play for the money. So the main goal right now is to see themselves at the major qualifier for either of these teams. It's looking not so well so far for Tempo Storm, as it's going to be a 2-man advantage for OpTic Gaming as Snapfly just picks off Showtime at that mid connector.
2 on 4. Lucas, JW-esque with this sawed off towards drop. See if we can find anything here, as otherwise this is it. Gonna hop up towards the window, spots out 2 players, can't find the shot though, and it's Henny to keep this alive. 1v4 as you'll slowly march up towards this broken wall area, and OpTic, they're all over. Granted, there is 2 players that are fairly low, and those are actually the closest players, it looks like, to Henny. Maybe, just maybe, but he's got 35 seconds, not a lot of time remaining, and he still hasn't found a single 1v1.
Trying to move out towards his B-bomb set right now, spawn it, gets the first kill, gets a second one right now, trying to clutch a 2 versus 1 now. What initially was a 4 versus 1, and he was so close. Going for the fake plant first, Molly's coming out, and that is going to be it. Mixwell capitalizing with the last kill, and we finally see a happy rush as they will get the first seed for qualifying for the major qualifier.
Yeah, exactly. So fantastic work from the OpTic lineup. I don't think anybody would have predicted that they would take this 2-0. If you were a diehard OpTic fan that thought they were going to take it, you probably expect maybe a 2-1. Cobble going the way of the Brazilians, but Tempo Storm, again, they're not out of chances. They will drop down. So they will have another shot, but of course, a little bit more comfortable if you can make it in through this one. And OpTic, again, that's exactly what they've done here. Congratulations to them.
Yeah, I mean, people did not expect OpTic Gaming maybe to win this map on Cobble against Tempo Storm, but even less would they expect such a spanking from OpTic Gaming on Cobble. I mean, what a great play. If I'm looking at this, Stanislaw, we mentioned it before, has been a key player. Rush has had his points on the T side, but if anything, Nafly also stepped up on the CT side.
Definitely.
He went second there right after, I think, had 18 kills in total. But where we saw a little bit of a struggle on Tempo Storm's side was Showtime. Showtime at this point here was at 8 and 18, finishing the second map. So everybody else was around like that 10 to 14 kill mark for Tempo Storm. But overall, I mean, you can't really blame Showtime of a poor showing on Cobble CT side. It's just overall they weren't able to hold any type of pushes from OpTic Gaming, the aggressive pushes that they had. Even the slow pushes, the late push that could come in inside the B-bomb site just didn't work out. For at least for Tempo Storm to hold.
Yeah, exactly. So we are going to throw down to an interview in just a moment, of course.
Yeah.
I believe Stanislaw, eventually we're going to get to talk to him. So, well, I'm very interested to see what he says about the map, or the match rather. Like you had stated, so impactful throughout that best of 3. So it looks like he is ready to talk. So we'll throw it on down to the interview.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Sprawl and Van Silly. I'm joined with Stanislaw. Great performance there, 2-0ing Tempo Storm. Team that we actually thought was going to be, the favorites to move through this relatively easily. And you guys dispatched of them pretty soundly there, especially you guys took Train 16-7. Pretty solid performance from you guys on that one. That's what we've seen this entire weekend from you guys. I mean, you only dropped 3 rounds on Train prior to that. So looked really, really good there. Tell me a little bit about your guys' performance on that, because you did have to start on the terrorist side, but you had a tremendous T-side half. and then just smooth sailing on the CT side. Was it any kind of counter-stratting that you guys had going on there, or was it just good calls from Daps?
It wasn't really counter-stratting. It was just really slow, proper play. It was actually really sloppy on T side. You can see like Henny had so many opportunities to kill us because we missed a smoke or we didn't like trade properly. So it was actually pretty sloppy from us. I'm surprised we managed to get 8 rounds. But CT side, we've been putting a lot of work into CT side. You know, like changing up roles, changing up setups, putting a lot of work. So I think that's really starting to click. But honestly, T side could have been a lot better. We just played actually really sloppy.
Not happy with 8 rounds on the T side of train?
I mean, 8 rounds on T side train is like obviously really good, but you know, it could have had more the way it went.
Well, then let's fast forward over to Cobblestone. Stat line of that was certain guy, Stanislaw, pistol rounds, 4 kills on the terrorist side pistol, come back in onto the CT side pistol and get the ace. 9 of your kills. I mean, I think you ended up with something like 27 kills, 28 kills throughout the duration of that Cobblestone map. 9 of those came in the pistol round. Feeling it?
Yeah, I don't know why, but I'm just feeling the pistols this event. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it was pretty dirty to watch that. And I mean, it came down like you swing around and caught 2 of them reloading and everything like that. It was really beautiful play. But all in all, I mean, we watched your guys' terrorist side. It was tremendous. You went up 10-5 at the half line score. Your executes were very, very solid throughout. And obviously, since Daps is the one that's kind of leading the role, we've been told that you're kind of second in command. You know, if you see something or spot something, you piece together a little bit of information. Was there anything that you read on the CT side of Tempo Storm that made you like make some important mid-round calls?
Well, it all started off with the pistol. Like we actually like anti-stratted them pretty hard on the pistol, and they did something that we didn't expect. They had 4 towards A, and they just left the B bomb site. So, you know, pistol round went really well, and yeah, we watched their Cobblestone game against, who did they play this morning? Yeah, Selfless, and we really took note of what they did. And yeah, we knew how they played. We adapted well, and you know, when Daps was calling, like when he was starting to run out of ideas, I really like, you know, chipped in, helped him out, and yeah, we just really honestly traded well, read them very well, and yeah, just 10 rounds T side couldn't ask for more really.
I think that's one of the most important points that you can make right there, trading. You guys have been on fire when it comes to trade kills throughout the tournament so far. I think you guys have only dropped 1 map so far in this entirety in the BO3 that you guys played against TSM. So I'm going to let you guys go celebrate. You guys are the first team to actually qualify for the major qualifier. Now you're just playing for the pride and for the little bit extra cheddar at the end of the tournament. So go celebrate. You have a good one. Thank you for joining me. And I'm going to send it back over to Puckett with some post-game analysis.
Thank you, Mega Man. Props to everybody here on the production team. We got Mega Man in the house, Sprawl in the house for the first time. We got GB James popping the collar after the NA victory here.
All right, I'll fix it. Okay.
I'm going with you, James. You're fine. No, keep it up. Pop this Canadian collar as well.
Right there.
Guys, we did not expect OpTic Gaming to come in and 2-0 Tempo Storm. How strong is this squad? Because on day 1, you said this is the team that might become the best NA squad we have.
And not only that, possibly top 10 in the world if they kept their momentum. Since they got Mixwell, I saw potential.
You saw potential. Well, we saw some potential from Stanislaw here in game number 2. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. 9 kills across the 2 pistol rounds. OpTic Gaming takes Cobble, Tempo Storm's map, and really this is what set the tone right away. You heard him talking about it during the interview. The anti-strat just worked out, and Stan was just kind of tapping everybody in the face, Garrett.
Yeah, Stanislaw was just basically channeling his inner Dennis during this match. He just became a pistol god. He said he's been doing a great job throughout the event on the pistols. He destroyed him on T side with the interesting choice of strat that Tempo Storm decided to do with the 4 rushing A. And then on CT side, he just aces them, and then the ace includes a one-on-one clutch, I believe, as well. So he just channeled Dennis and just destroyed with him, and hopefully he can keep that going into the next matches in tomorrow.
We will get a chance to watch, of course, Tempo Storm, OpTic Gaming. They're done. They are finished for the weekend. I'm sorry, no, they're not.
Tomorrow, they have the finals tomorrow.
Yeah, they're done for the night. They're playing for $30,000 tomorrow. That's the big one. But tell me about Tempo Storm. We, of course, have to touch on the other side of the stage. This is the squad coming in that we thought, of course, is going to be the strongest team. They looked great in Group A. They looked solid earlier in the day. And then what were the issues that you saw going up against OpTic Gaming?
Well, You have to understand, Tempo Storm was put under a lot of pressure. What do good teams do? They manage their economy well. I wrote some notes. Trading and spacing. They shift up their speeds of when they're going to attack. You saw OpTic rush sometimes, and you saw them slow it down. You saw them hit both sites, and you saw them keep some of their guns, like the SMGs. They kept them build a high economy. It was a little bit of a risk, but it paid off in the manner that they did it. So it was a high-pressure situation for Tempo Storm. They weren't getting anything good, and I saw it felt like Tempo Storm was crumbling under that pressure. They're a very, very young squad, mentored by Fallen and a lot of the Brazilians, LG, that they've learned under. They don't have their coach anymore, Peacemaker. He's with Liquid now, so I think that since what happens to Bolts? Bolts went -11. And what happens, he went both matches. I think it's total, it's -50, or 25, I think, for both sets of matches, which he basically didn't show up. Okay, why didn't he show up? He's got a lot of pressure under his shoulders now. Why did that happen before he had a coach? Now he doesn't. I mean, I know OpTic doesn't have a coach, but that's where we can flip it on the other side and really look at it and say, okay, why? I give Daps a whole hell of a lot of credit. He went zero, in the match. No negative, no positive. But a lot of the things that he did not show up on the scoreboard.
Absolutely. Daps a critical factor. We said Mixwell's the guy to watch. He kind of lived up to the hype so far in this tournament, and then Stanislaw just taking over that game too. But it's been a team effort, and really, I was talking to the TSM guys upstairs. They were watching the entire match, and after the game one, I asked, who do you guys expect to play tomorrow in that losers final for the second spot in the major qualifier? They're like, we're going to have to play Tempo Storm. And I asked Twist, why is that? And he's like, OpTic is just too strong right now. They're running through them. So Tempo, they're going to have to look back at the VODs. They have to go over their game plan and think about tomorrow. TSM versus Tempo Storm. Is this now a closer match than we originally thought it would be?
I honestly thought TSM would have a lot better chance against OpTic than they will against Tempo Storm, because at least when TSM plays OpTic, they're familiar with them. They played them pretty well in the best of 3 yesterday, where they lost 2-1, and we saw different sides of TSM where they had a really strong play and really weak play. And if they just showed up against OpTic potentially tomorrow, if that was the case, I wouldn't say they would be fair, but they would have a chance.
Yeah.
But Tempo Storm, although they played terrible today, and then not that they played just terrible, OpTic played fantastic.
Right.
Yeah, fantastic.
Tempo is a whole TSM isn't used to Tempo, and TSM got wrecked on Cobble on it, and then they're not going to have to let Cobble through. They have to stop. They have to ban that.
Yeah,
they have to. And if they do, then they have a chance. Then they have a fighting chance. But Tempo should be able to take down TSM pretty handily.
Yeah, you saw Tempo Storm wreck almost every team they faced in this tournament. Up until this point, they never got put under any pressure, and we kept saying, wait till that moment when they faced that. And you saw Phelps. He bought 3 P90s. He got 3 kills the one time he did it. Got $600 for it. He basically, they struggled basically to manage their economy throughout the half. You saw them with pistol armor and shotguns, and they just never got into it to have solid gunfights. And every time they did, okay, finally, breath of fresh air. We're ready to go. OpTic hit them with a change of pace. They rushed them. They slowed it down. Mid-game, they really segmented their map control. The one thing that stuck out was there was this pop flash over mid on T side, OpTic T side. They pop flashed over the door. Mixwell peeked up. It was so concise. It looked like they had really practiced up.
OpTic Gaming improving event after event, but it's been Tempo Storm who has been the most dominant so far in this month. Tomorrow they play TSM. Here's a look at how the playoff bracket has sorted out so far. We started the day with our final 4 teams. Tempo Storm cut that down to 3 after dispatching Selfless with a 2-0 victory there. Then you just watched the matchup, OpTic Gaming versus Tempo. So OpTic secures that first spot, but it's going to be TSM, a squad that gave OpTic a lot of trouble last night, coming in tomorrow. And this is a squad that really showed us some things earlier in the day. How big of a threat is this for you now?
If they play the way they have on a few of the maps, where I believe it was on Overpass, they played that very sloppy, but then on Cash they completely changed up the style and they played very well. They're just that team that's not as experienced, and they haven't figured out how to play as deep of a map pool, like Sempress has mentioned before. how to play it strong throughout all like 6, well now 7 maps with Nuke, but all 7 maps. So they have a couple strong maps and they have a couple very weak maps. So it's going to come down to if they can tighten it up. And Tempo, they haven't lost like this in a while to a North American team.
I think it was here the last time it happened.
Yeah, maybe. So like they haven't lost to a North American team like this in a while, like
Major
this badly.
qualifier.
And they're gonna come back tomorrow with a lighter up their ass right now.
Hey, it's legal.
Like, they're gonna have some fire under them, and they're gonna go and they're gonna be angry. And I expect them to come in and make quick work of TSM because they're a world-class team. They're going to make quick work, and they're going to come back to OpTic, and they're going to want revenge. And that's when OpTic needs to not get too comfortable right now with winning this so handily, and they need to be ready for the angry team that's about to show up in the finals tomorrow if they get that far.
All right, guys. Tomorrow we have 2 very important matches on Championship Sunday. Of course, 8 teams started this weekend. We are down to our final 3. OpTic Gaming has the first spot at the major qualifier. Tomorrow we'll find out who will get the second. Is it going to be TSM or will it be Tempo Storm from Brazil? And of course, keep in mind, not only is there a spot on the line, we are playing out this entire tournament, $30,000 up for grabs for first place. It's going to be a great day. So take a look at how it will all sort out. So far, we have Team Caliber and Winter Fox, Energy, Win Out, and Selfless removed from the tournament. It's all down to the final 3. Who's walking away with 5K? Who's going to get that 15K second place? And most importantly, who is the top team here this weekend? For everyone here at the production team, for Garrett, for James, and all of our casters, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow, 12 o'clock, as always. Still finds out.